Welcome back. Following disasters, insurance fraud can add millions of dollars paid out by insurers, resulting in higher premiums for all of us.
Yes, the National Insurance Crime Bureau's president and CEO, David Glawe, is joining us now to talk a little bit more about it. And David has some insight on how to avoid fraud. David, good morning. Thanks for being with us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
So I guess from the top, could you tell us a little bit about the kind of fraud that takes place after disasters like that? And, you know, we hear of people trying to put their lives back together and what they're facing.
Yeah, thanks for the question. We saw in 2021, $92 billion in losses, and of that, $9.2 billion was fraud. And after a catastrophic event, which Houston has been hit numerous times, we have these fraudsters that come into these neighborhoods, either virtually or in person, selling contractor service and defrauding people that have already been victimized by a horrific catastrophic event.
David, what steps can and should homeowners take prior to a natural disaster, and how can that prep help reduce changes of becoming a victim of fraud?
Sure, preparation is some of the key components. So just for your livelihood, make sure you have 3 days food, water, and sustenance, and battery chargers, your cell phones on hand. Be prepared to survive. But then also looking at what are you going to do after the fact. Make sure your insurance coverages are appropriate. You have coverages that will cover your losses and provide temporary housing, because you're not going to have rebuilds right away after an event. Having good procedures before a disaster strike is critical in the event one does.
Now, what about, David, best practices for disaster victims when they do need to hire a contractor? So you come home, whatever it is, the roof's damaged, something else. What's the best way to go about making sure you're finding somebody honest, reliable, maybe licensed, however that works?
That's a great question, and that's exactly it. You have to go through the process. You're going to be under a tremendous amount of stress. You may have lost everything, or your home may be not habitable. So you take a pause. Take your time, get 3 bids from contractors, go through the process of vetting them, make sure they have a business license, a physical address, phones, and emails. Make sure when you sign a contract, make sure you don't pay all the money up front, pay an incremental to make sure they're going to show up, and vet the contractor with the Better Business Bureau or the Attorney General's office or the Division of Insurance within the state of Texas. They'll have lists, and work with your insurance agent. They'll also be able to have a vetted list of contractors. Whatever you do, do not hire someone that calls you on the phone or comes to your front porch.
Okay. Excellent advice. Would you say those are the same resources available to folks, other disaster victims, to help them avoid potential fraudulent actors here?
Absolutely. We've been an organization around for over 100 years. You can contact us at our website at www.nicb.org. And also you can report fraud at 1-800-TEL-NICB, 1-800-TEL-NICB.
You know, and it's nice to have a place to go to report it, but I think at that point, so many homeowners feel like they've already lost, you know, whatever their deposit was that they put down, you know, right? And it's done. So really that preparation is the key. And you know, the stronger we can be through a disaster, maybe the better decisions we'll make on the other side of one.
That's exactly it. The key is preparation up front. Have your sustenance, your 3 days food and water so you can survive, but also making sure you have the insurance coverage in place after the event, because you won't be covered if you don't have that. So preparation up front is key, and take a pause when it does happen. Vet your contractors out so you don't become a victim of fraud. So you're victimized twice. The event happened, and then you're a victim of a crime.
Absolutely. It's heartbreaking to hear those stories. We hear them all the time.
I know, don't we?
Every hurricane season. David Glawe, thanks so much for the insight. We appreciate it. National Insurance Crime Bureau's president and CEO. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.